Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one I'm going to be talking about a little bit of a special category that's been the past few years have been advancing a lot, and that's actually curved smartphone screens. And in general, just curved screens. We do have a lot of curved TVs that's coming out. It seems like a lot of people wants to curve things nowadays. And I've been using the device I have right here, and this is a Galaxy S7 Edge, and it has a curved screen, and I'm going to focus on curved smartphone screens here mainly. And I've been using this guy for over 6 months, and I just think that I want to share my thoughts on it because I'm not really too sold on it. So I'm going to mention a few things that I like about it and a few things that I don't like about it. So let's just get right into that. So if we start with the thing I like the most, that's definitely going to be the design. I mean, when you curve a screen like this, you can get such a beautiful device. I mean, it just looks stunning when the curve wraps around the edges, almost meeting the back of the phone. And that just looks beautiful. It's just fun to see that you can play around a lot with smartphone designs when you do curve a screen. And I'm not going to say that Samsung is the one that only do it, because it's not only Samsung that uses curved smartphone screens, but you can basically say they're the ones that do it the most, that's trying to advance it and really get it into the mainstream. But we also have a company called Xiaomi, it's a Chinese smartphone company that just now starting to use some curved screen as well. So they're really getting there, but again, it's really just design, because it just looks so beautiful with these wrapping around edges. And I just got a lot of comments from people that haven't seen the curved screen. It just looks like it's something from the future that's really just here now. So that's great. But other than that, I can't really see much more use of it. I mean, sure, there are some useful features that Samsung has packed in here that trying to really take advantage of a curved screen. For example, you can get a night clock appear on the curved side of the screen. You can also you can swipe with your finger on the edge to pull up some kind of notifications, and you can see news without even having to turn off the whole screen, which can save battery. But for me, it's kind of sort of gimmicky things that I don't really use that much. So for me, really, the only use I've got from this curved screen is its design. I mean, it just looks beautiful, and some content does look more immersive when it's wrapping around the screen, especially when watching videos and such. But that also leads me to one of the bad things with the curve, that it can actually at the same time make content less viewable and less pleasant to view. Because, for example, when you're on web pages, you're trying to read some text and it's wrapping around the text just on the screen, and it's hard to see. Because, I mean, there's not a lot of content that's really fit to work on curved screens. I mean, most of the screens still are flat, so that's basically what all programmers and all manufacturers really design their programs for. But again, it's just a nice design perspective, but I can't really find anything more that I really seem that it's useful, just that it looks beautiful, and really that's almost enough for me. But there are a few negatives that I'm going to talk about now. So I already mentioned that some content do look a little bit weird when it wraps around the screen with text mostly. Videos looks great though, so it's mostly with text. And also what I don't really like about it is, especially with Samsung here, they made the design so thin that it's basically almost wrapping around. You have such a thin little bezel to hold on to here. And they've done a pretty good job with palm rejection, or whatever you want to call it, when you put your palm around and you have your screen on, that it's not going to register that as a touch because it's touching a part of the edge screen. They sure have done a good job with that. At first, when Samsung released this phone, I got it on the release date. It was horrible. I got so many accidental presses because of that, but they really just quickly updated it in software updates, so I'm happy about that. Now it works okay. It's still sometimes annoying, especially when you're lying down and using your phone. You get some accidental presses. And then another thing that is pretty annoying is when you're in lit environments, example for in direct sunlight, the sun is going to reflect on the curved glass of the phone, so it kind of makes the edges hard to view, and that kind of defeats its purpose as well, which I'm not really a big fan of. So another thing I don't really like about the edge screen is, I'm not sure if you can call what you should call it, but I think you maybe can call it distortion. I mean, when you tilt the screen on different angles, when you have certain colors up, it's going to look like it's basically turning a greenish tint because of the curve. And that gets a little bit annoying sometimes, and it just doesn't make the experience all that great. but also due to this curve, the whole phone is just getting so sensitive to scratches and stuff. You have exposed glass everywhere, and I mean, it's just making it even more fragile than flat screens, I think, because you don't have as much bezel to protect it. Okay, so to sum it all up, really, I mean, I think it's a great concept. I mean, you can design some beautiful smartphones and you can make them look super beautiful, but I'm not think I'm sold on it as a whole. I mean, it's super good for design aspect, and it's just beautiful to look at, and that's almost enough for me. But I guess I kind of want to see something a little bit more useful with it, because right now it just seems like it's for design, and the screens are also super expensive to make, so you're really gonna think through if you're planning to buy a smartphone with a curved screen, because it's probably gonna cost you a lot. And I mean, Samsung is trying to really get these curved screens to be a mainstream product. I mean, they tried to release their Note 7 with only a curved screen, not even having a flat variant. And as you guys probably know, that phone started to get a lot of problems with their batteries, so it's not on sale anymore. They're discontinued it. But anyway, this just shows that Samsung really want to push curved screens to the market to make it mainstream. And is that a good thing? I'm not sure. I mean, it feels like Samsung is making the curves less noticeable every year. I mean, if we start with the Galaxy Note Edge, that had a huge curve. They didn't really think that was all good, so they just made it smaller with the S6 Edge, and now even smaller with the S7 Edge. So they're making the curves smaller and smaller, and that just makes them less usable, in my opinion, because you don't have as much information to display when they're curved, and the curve is not as noticeable. But that's basically going to sum this video up. I hope you all liked it and that you now know at least what I think about curved screens. It's a little bit of a mix-up. I'm not really sure how I feel about them yet, even though I have one myself. It's not like I'm going to turn the phone back just because the curved screen. I still think it's beautiful and amazing. And I would love to hear you guys what you think in the comments. So drop a comment and say what you think about curved screen, and maybe you have one in your experiences. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope you all liked it, and I hope to see you in the next one. As always, I try to upload at least one video every week.